One of Indiana high school basketball's landmarks turns 50 this year. Lloyd Scott Gymnasium, home to the Seymour Owls. It's the largest high school gym in the country. Capacity, 8,200 plus.
Considering the fact that this was built and opened in 1969-70, it's still considered one of the more forward-thinking gyms in terms of design.
It's an adrenaline rush. You know, seeing everybody in here, everybody shouting, everybody's excited, enjoying the games one way or the other, win or lose. It's a fun place to work.
The atmosphere inside Lloyd Scott Gym packs a purple punch, with students crazed for action. Tonight is a rivalry game. Brownstown Central's in town, and that means 5,000 people are in the house for an early December matchup. LSG is just as historic as the program that calls it home. Seymour has won 44 sectional titles, their last coming in 1992. Kirk Manns had just finished playing at Michigan State at that time. Born in rural northwest Indiana, Manns is relatively new to the Seymour family in his first year as head coach.
Anytime you have a chance to practice in the largest gymnasium in the nation, high school gymnasium in the nation, you know, I look at that as an honor, and I try to get that across to the kids every single day that this is a privilege. You get to be here. You don't have to be here.
Seymour has opened up its doors to many over half a century, even NBA teams.
Well, the Indiana Pacers had an exhibition game with the Atlanta Hawks, and I believe the Atlanta Journal-Constitution did a story from here, and one of the first lines in that story essentially was from the cornfields of Indiana. Is this sprawling palace of basketball, and it's Indiana.
You might be asking, why make a gym this big? Well, it all started with a little bit of strategy.
The original thinking was strategically, we're going to build one big enough to host sectional, regional, and semi-state, and in those days, Seymour was a regular competitor at that level, making appearances in each of those tournaments. And so a little bit of home court advantage in that regard.
It's both modern and rustic, with a full second level of wooden bleachers that extend out for big game crowds.
Well, they're all one piece, and so as they come out, it's one of the world's largest moving walls of bleachers. And when we get them out and get everything set up, it's like, wow. You know, it's hard to believe how many people actually fit in this gym, and you know how many people can have the experience of being in here. Just experiencing a game in here is something worthwhile.
This is Bud Shippee. He's had the best seat in the house for 44 seasons, broadcasting Seymour games on the radio, a tradition started by his father. The Hall of Famer has been around long enough to have seen the gym's genesis.
Our last 2 years in high school, we sat in school and watched them build this gym, and we never got to be a participant in it, so it was kind of, but you know, we had two Indiana All-Stars on that 1970 team that went 25-1, and it was a great time, and I guess it was kind of special because we knew it was the last year in the old Shields Memorial Gymnasium just down the road, so we had it unique because we didn't know what this would be like, but it would have been incredible to have had that season in this gym where we could have had 8,000 people instead of 4,000 cheering for us.
If you were here in the late 80s, you got to see Damon Bailey, Seymour's king of the court.
He was sold out games throughout his entire four-year career, and it was amazing. He still has the gym record for the most points in a single game with over 50, and he broke the all-time Indiana High School state scoring record in a regional championship game here at Seymour.
The Bailey buzz started when he would come to town as an 8th grader. Just before his storied high school career, the IHSAA opted to move Bedford from the Washington Regional to the Seymour Sectional, and he owned the gym, with the exception of one game.
He only lost one game here at Lloyd Scott Gymnasium all those years, and that was against Pat Graham, Damon's junior year, when we had two Mr. Basketballs and IU future players playing against each other. It was a really fun time back in those days.
And the fun returned almost 30 years later, thanks to another phenom, Romeo Langford. Romeo starred in the gym's most famous semi-state game, New Albany against undefeated Warren Central in 2018. The school and community braced to cram in 8,000 plus fans standing room only.
You know, as our principal, Greg Prange, he kind of described it as we're hosting a party for 8,000 people on 7 different days.
That was the most exciting game that I've seen in all my years here at Seymour High School from a PA perspective.
That was the hottest ticket ever in this gym. I mean, for the Seymour State game in Warren Central, there were people calling from everywhere. We have people calling from Illinois wanting to bring their junior high teams. Can we bring your teams? Well, you could if we had any tickets, but there are no tickets.
Langford's final high school game is one of the many memories that live on. The Seymour community has kept them all over the course of 50 years inside a place they call home.
There's still no place I would rather be on a Friday night than sitting in the southwest corner of Lloyd Scott Gymnasium doing a brawl game.
From Seymour, I'm Sam Nieder.